Greetings, brothers and sisters. So there are things that I am an expert at that I really, I don't want to say embarrassed to be an expert about it, but I'm certainly not digging it, right? Because it has really no value. And that's certainly to do with anything to do with the celebrity culture. So I've covered celebrities in a variety of different ways. Like I've made different types of videos and about the Hollywood culture, and there is value to it in that, people are trained their whole life to believe that being rich and famous is the ultimate goal, right? Being rich and then being famous on top of it. That's the dream. That's the epitome of the American dream. And I guess one great thing about the American system is somebody who grows up or is born poor can become a billionaire and certainly a millionaire and famous and successful. In other countries, that doesn't exist, right? And so there's a reward for merit and work in America. And again, there's still nepotism. I'm not saying it's, 100% good, but it's better than other places. And so, there's this idea that everyone can become rich and famous. And there's these stupid ideas out there that, never give up on your dreams or, you can do anything or be anything you want. And that isn't true, right? You can, if you have the right kind of talent, be successful. And you can be successful materially in America if you work hard and you have whatever abilities, you use your abilities that you have. But not everyone's going to be rich and famous. And those that do are almost 100% of the time miserable and horrible people, right? They're entitled and they suck on every level. And so that's one of the things I document here. And then I contrast that with, connecting to God inside and having a spiritual life where you make your focus about your soul and your soul's path, which is much more rewarding and you're a much more happier person, even though you don't have, the bells and whistles and the toys. Maybe you do. Maybe you also can be successful in a financial way, maybe even famous. But if you are, that isn't your main goal. And you're not like one of these Madam Expiration Date, Madonna, or Will Smiths, right? And so I started covering Will Smith in 2015, I believe. I was just starting to make celebrity videos. And so Will Smith popped up on my radar. Well, what happened was I made a video about Tom Hanks, and he was, he had this nice guy brand, a nice guy moniker, right? He was considered one of the good guys, well-liked, one of the most popular celebrities. And I could see that was just, BS, right? Like, it wasn't true. And he made this really disturbing video with Jimmy Kimmel where he, had these toddlers and tiaras and this stuff, right? And so he was just not a good person. I don't know when, I don't know the sequential order of this. But then I realized there were a couple of other people, Will Smith and Ellen, who also got the good guy, the nice person, the be kind lady in Ellen's case, right? They got this brand. And not everyone in Hollywood got this brand, right? Most Hollywood people were considered screw-ups or they had some were like worse, like Kanye, who were always screwing up, right? There's some, athletes like this. They're always in trouble. They're always getting bad press, right? They get the sort of villain or the screw-up, the clown brand. There's various brands and, monikers that these celebrities are saddled with. But only a few of them get this good guy, everybody trusts you. And they were the best to sell something to you and shill for the beast because people trusted them. And so when I started to look into Will Smith, I realized everything about the guy was a lie. He was a complete sham. That people in Hollywood and the gay community were saying that he was gay and his marriage was a sham beard marriage, right? And so I covered him, for a few videos in 2014 when I first started making celebrity videos. And like I said, I don't care about this. I never really liked making celebrity videos. I don't, I like making them, but I don't care about the celebrity culture. And so if I'm not making videos about Will Smith, I have all this information, useless information, that's taking up space in my memory and, whatever. And so every once in a while it comes back around again. So I've covered Will Smith, and Will Smith is also like Madonna in that he's desperate to stay relevant, right? Madam Expiration Date. And so with that, he has the good guy moniker, but he also has he so desperately wants to stay, retain his once iconic role where he was the top of the celebrity pyramid. And, just like Madonna, he can't. And so there's a desperation with him and his fakeness, right? And so let's start off with this idea that Will Smith is either gay or bisexual and their marriage is a sham. Now, when I first started covering this, there wasn't as much information out there, right? It wasn't out that she had an affair with one of her son's friends, right? That happened. And then there wasn't as much revelation. Certainly the slap hadn't happened. And so this goes way back to 2014. And then I've made many videos since. And I end up repeating the same things and, reading the same articles and talking about, Alexis Arquette. Just all the same stuff. And Benny Medina. I say it over and over again because, it just is one of those things. So I've put together a compilation here of other videos that I've spent some time on. And this is just the idea that Will Smith is not, being honest about his sexual orientation. And there's, the beginning of understanding their fraudulent marriage, which is the centerpiece to this whole tale. So let's get into that here.
Thoroughly probed, got in there and got to the real stuff. Alex probed me. Sex, like once you've had sex, you walk different. It's in your back. Only a man knows what a man needs. You ever made love to a man? No. You want to? No, sir. Definitely don't look nerdy. You got some sexy vibes going. It's not nerdy. And from that point, I never put profanity in my rap music.
Oh, what a lovely story. That is sweet.
So this is what they found.
This guy's saying this is what they found in his colon.
He's like the Martin Scorsese of my ass.
Then this happens.
You can get dressed. I'm going to step on the other side of the curtain. Just let me know when you're done, okay?
Ben, can you get me dressed?
Basically like a regular Wednesday.
Can you help me with these, Ben? I'm gonna ask Jazz, but he has to use the camera.
Yeah, my hands are so full.
What's up, girl? Where's Ben? He's supposed to be my protector.
It worries me because you just got out of the toilet. I didn't hear the faucet on.
Subconsciously, of course. I'm like, I want to look good for the doctor to put a camera up my ass.
Don't say anus. So you let some man put something up my anus while I was asleep. So basically.
All right. So one of my viewers, let's go back a little bit here. So one of my viewers on Facebook sent me this.
Behind you.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
absolutely.
Okay.
It's like good production.
And then we've got, there's some words up there.
Yes.
Okay, you all set?
Hey,
Oh.
So Will just grabbed this Graham Norton. Is that his name? Graham something. And he has I think he's Irish or Scottish or something. He's got a celebrity talk show in the UK. In fact, I think in this very same episode, there is something else. I'm going to play the compilation later. And that comes from this show. You'll see that in the compilation. But, Will Smith, let's go back here. So,
He is in behind you.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
absolutely.
Okay.
so this guy reaches down to bend over, and Will is eyeing his buttocks, and he decides, well,
It's like good production.
And then we've got, there's some words up there.
Yes.
Okay, you all set?
I'm going to do that. He decides to do that back there, big giant cursor nose, colossal cursor.
Oh.
And then they have a good laugh. And so when I first posted this, I didn't watch the end of it. But then Helen Mirren gets in on the act. And she stands in front of him, and Will Smith puts his hands up in the air, right? Puts up his hands. because he wants no part of that. Graham, whatever his name is, Norton, is that it? But Helen Mirren, he's not into it all. And so I'm back to narrating here, and then there's the weird Aladdin stuff, right? And this was referenced in various people critique of his, his performance as Aladdin.
Does this feel like a hug? Yes.
Come see, come ça.
Do you feel loved or do you feel assaulted?
All right.
Feels like someone already did.
And that fake laugh.
Now that will be edited out of the show.
No, it won't. Let's take a
Oh,
peek.
yeah. You know, I love him, Ellen. I love him.
Trying to make out with his teenage son.
I do.
Ellen egging him on.
No, you know, it's I think when you have kids and you love them and you're proud of them, you just want to kiss them in the mouth sometimes.
This one's gonna be easy. Ooh, look at her handmade. So, and she's going to get some punch. Feeling a little thirsty myself.
No, you can't leave me. They'll see right through me.
No, they won't. All you have to do is walk over there.
Speak. I also have to speak.
Okay, listen to me. I live in a lamp. This is a party. Do not mess this up for me.
Mr. Man, what's your name? Whatever, what would your pleasure be?
That's fantastic. So do you think your parents are cool, or do they sometimes embarrass you, Jaden?
My parents embarrass me all the time.
Classic Will Smith laugh, right?
They do? I did not expect that answer.
When I'm at school, sometimes my dad will just pull his pants down.
Hey!
I might hug you. Can I hug you?
Oh my God, a dream. How you gonna be? Hey, man. Come on, man. What the hell is your problem, buddy?
So, Will slapped that dude too. That dude kissed Will on his mouth. It's something the guy does. He's some reporter in Europe, some, gossip reporter. And Will slapped him because he didn't like being kissed on the mouth the same way he kisses his sons on the mouth, which was interesting. And then I have a long compilation here of, things that I've read before, stuff from Alexis Arquette and stuff about Benny Medina. So let's watch that. Even now he's trying to get real and he's still fake. Like he doesn't know how not to be fake.
But mentally, I was somewhere else. I'm done. And I ended up discovering a whole lot of hidden things about myself.
Okay, so are you finally coming out as gay? Because the biggest thing about Will Smith, and it's been, rumored by Hollywood. This is something that I didn't figure out. Like Hollywood had been talking about this for years. Alexis Arquette was from the famous Arquette family. There's like 5 of them, and they're all like celebrities. And it says, Alexis Arquette drops Will Smith gay bombshell. This is from Pink News. Trans actress brands Will and Jada Pinkett Smith gay hypocrites following Oscar boycott. And so Jada Pinkett Smith boycotted the Oscars because Will wasn't nominated or something. Remember that? And Alexis Arquette said this. When Jada comes out as gay and her beard husband admits his first marriage ended when she walked in on him, servicing his sugar daddy, Benny Medina, then I will listen to them. And then it said, she's being his first wife, paid off and silent. Will threw a fit on the set of 6 Degrees of Separation when he was required by the scene to kiss Anthony Rapp. Anthony Rapp later would accuse Kevin Spacey of abusing him in some way. So that's all tied together. He persuaded the director to shoot the back of his head in the frame, blocking the non-existent lip lock entirely. Him, gays have enemies. They lurk inside gilded closets. Outing is healthy, and you are either with or against us, you decide today. So then Alexis Arquette was clearly upset by the Smiths playing this role of the perfect couple and, Will pretending to be cisgender or whatever. they call it, right? And wasn't having any of it. And then Alexis Arquette ends up dying, right? Shortly thereafter, which seems suspicious given what happened here, for like almost like a punishment for outing Will Smith. So Will Smith, this is Benny Medina, right? And Benny Medina was the real Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And salvaged Will Smith's career. Here's Benny Medina with his hand inside Will Smith's shirt. And so Benny Medina had this idea for a TV show, and it was about his life because he had some sort of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air type of situation. And he got Will Smith to star in it, right? Will Smith was an actor. He didn't want to do it or whatever. And so Alexis Arquette said that Will Smith was servicing Benny Medina because of, whatever was going on there. So that was the first accusation. So like I was saying before, I've covered this subject, Will Smith, not just this, so many different celebrities, so many different, things that stories disappear and they have no use. But I've covered this before, and then it comes back around again. There's been 3 times I think I've made a chunk of videos, like 3, 4, 5 videos in a, within like a 6-month period or a week, a couple weeks period, because something happens with that celebrity, and then I already know all these things. And so now I'll have it all together. All this Will Smith stuff will be in one video. And I can slap it on the end of a video if something again, when they cancel them or whatever. It'll just be there, and people who haven't seen it will get to see it then, and otherwise it'll be, something I can reference from or take clips out of or whatever. But anyways, there's another segment on Benny Medina here. Will Smith talks about Benny Medina himself. And so let's watch this here. So the problem with this is Benny Medina. And I've covered this before. I've covered the quote that came from Alexis Arquette. I've read the quote where Alexis Arquette talked about how Will Smith's first wife walked in on him. He was servicing Benny Medina. Here they are together. Here they are here. Benny Medina has his hand in Will Smith's coat. And there they are, right, doing a little bit of piggyback ride. All gangster stuff. I mean, look at a gangster. This is some gangster hand touching here, hand touching here, hand touching. Will Smith wants to portray himself as some tough guy from Philly, right? That's his, what he's built his brand on. But Benny Medina, the guy who was the real life Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So he's the guy who pitched his life story.
Me and Jeff had come out with our smash hit, Parents Just Don't Understand. We made a bunch.
So this is from Will Smith's YouTube channel.
Parents Just Don't Understand. We made a bunch of money. We won a Grammy. Album was triple platinum. I had motorcycles and cars. I called the Gucci store in Atlanta, and I was like, "Hey, will y'all close it down if I bring my friends?" And
he had a lot of money from that wonderful song.
Smiling, but that's stupid. We released our next album, and it was like a flop.
It flopped. What are the odds of something being worse than Parents Just Don't Understand? How bad was the second album?
It was a tragedy. It went like double plastic. I had spent most of my money, like all of it. I spent all my money.
So he was broke.
And I didn't forget, but I didn't pay the IRS. In my mind, I wasn't like trying to avoid paying taxes. I was just like, oh, damn, they need their money.
That's the real gangster part, right? This is how he became the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
The IRS took all of that stuff, so I was like broke. Being famous and broke is a shitty combination.
He just swore. He's used potty mouth.
You're still famous and people recognize you, but they recognize you while you sitting next to them on the bus. And the stuff they ask you to sign on a bus, like, "Oh, can you sign my baby?" That's a Sharpie.
Don't sign anybody's baby, Will.
I probably shouldn't just write on the baby with that. "Oh, you too big to sign my baby." Well, no, So I signed it.
He signed a baby. He likes to keep his fans happy.
So I was like laying around, and my girlfriend was like,
dude, we're not doing this. Like, you're not just going to be laying around this house all day.
Wow, he's really good at doing voices.
You going to go do something.
And I was like, what? What am I supposed to do?
Go where people is doing it.
Where are people doing it?
Go to the Arsenio Hall show.
Just go stand around at the Arsenio Hall show.
Yes.
That's stupid.
Boom. This girlfriend, in quotes, air quotes.
So I went to the Arsenio Hall show, and I met a dude named Benny Medina.
So this is Benny Medina.
Benny Medina is the real-life Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, except he actually went from Watts to Beverly Hills.
All right, so this is where they switch the story up, right?
Same basic concept, way shorter distance. I meet Benny, and he pitches me the idea for this show, and I'm like, I'm not an actor. I'm like, cool. And he says, hey, I want you to meet Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones is producing with me.
Quincy Jones?
So Benny walks me in and introduced me to Quincy. I'm like, hey, Q, what's up, man? He's like, hey, man.
Wait, is that Q? He met Q. Hey, QBs, Will Smith knows where Q.
So he goes out, tells everybody, come on. And I was like, hey, Q, hold up, man, hold up.
Hold up, Q.
Yes, give me 10 minutes. I said yes, and I let it rip.
I Let It Rip is probably the best description of Will Smith's acting performance on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I got to the end, and everybody's clapping.
All right, so we've established that Benny Medina, this guy who's getting handsy with Will Smith, is the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? He's the real life. This is who the story is based on. There was no Fresh Prince. He had this life-changing event where he went from Watts in California, not a great, neighborhood, and then went to the rich neighborhood of Bel-Air, and then he came up with an idea for a show, brought it to Quincy Jones, and they cast Will Smith in the part. And so Benny Medina was also someone in 2004 who was he was music manager of Jennifer Lopez, and he was accused of a sexual assault on I believe a young man, like a 15-year-old kid or something like this, right? In November, actor Jason Dotley alleged that Medina tried to R him in 2008. So I don't know if he was an adult or not, but there was this sexual assault allegations, and Benny Medina is a gay man. And so the concept of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is about a gay man who went to live with his uncle in Bel-Air. Will Smith, of course, he has had many rumors from people in Hollywood that he's at least bisexual. Then there was this tabloid hits Will Smith's affair with male actor destroyed marriage to Jada. $2 million cover-up scandal, Will Smith's secret payment to rumored gay lover exposed. And then he was in this movie with Kevin Kline called Wild West. It was a remake of the Wild West TV show. Will caught kissing Dwayne Martin. We were all sitting in Will's trailer on the Wild Wild West set. It was crazy. Will said, I'm secure with my manhood. Then he walked over to Dwayne Martin and kissed him on the mouth. That was Kevin Kline, who was at the time an A-list actor himself, and he was recalling this. And so these guys were rumored to be a couple. And so Will Smith was carrying this sham marriage out, based in Hollywood insiders, and in reality, he was really gay or bisexual. He was somebody on the LGBTQ spectrum, and there was just some fakeness about Will Smith. And then in the Wild Wild West, there was things that happened in these movies. Will Smith gave a long lap dance to several of the characters dressed as a woman. It's like 3 minutes long, right? Here he is with Kevin Kline. Here he is stroking the face of the president, sitting on the president's lap. Here he is wrapping a scarf around the villain. It goes on for a while. Very sexual, very odd. Like, it goes on forever.
careful about the dress. I'll be out of here in just a second, Mr. President.
And then here he is kissing Jaden on the mouth, something Jaden complained about on Ellen, and Ellen encouraged him to go after Jaden and kiss him on the mouth. So these were things. I have a compilation I'll show you. But it's, there's all these times that Will Smith himself hints at this reality, that he was actually gay. So that story has been there for a while. But then it was confirmed. For years they talked about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith's marriage being a sham, an open marriage. And because she was with, Alexis, she was with August Alsina, amongst other people. They had multiple affairs. And finally, that came to, be out in the public. August Alsina gave an interview and confirmed that they were together. And then Jada Smith had to take herself and Will Smith, for some reason, to the Red Table Talk. And they confirmed that their marriage was a sham marriage.
I'm going to get you back first, and then...
You're going to get me back. I think you got me back. I think we're good on that, okay?
Okay, that's probably true.
But, if you expect to be with somebody for a lifetime.
25 years and counting.
We ride together.
We die together.
Bad marriage for life.
That's terrible.
It's the truth.
It's the truth.
And so this also happened. I'm including this. So Will Smith decides to make a video about love.
So I was thinking about love. I was thinking about how difficult it is for us to find and to maintain the love that we all yearn for.
And so this made me think that Will Smith never ever experienced love in his life, right? It's one of the great things about the Heartfulness Meditation is that you get love from the source, which is, God is love and the divine energy that's transmitted in the system, right? It's something people crave on a fundamental level. And he said something here. He's really uncomfortable talking about it, right? And, this speaks to his marriage and his life and all these other things. Love misunderstood. Now, when this thing came out about August Alsina, Will Smith was miserable because Jada was miserable and he couldn't make her happy, couldn't control her happiness. She hated him and didn't want to be around him, right? Like, she would just stare at him. They talked about this in the Red Table Talk. Their relationship and how they just, she just would look at him and just, hate him, right? And this, he foreshadowed this here.
So me and Jada was reflecting about love.
Even the way he just said it, right? He was trying to sound like Barry White, but he sound like, somebody who's never experienced love.
You cannot make a person happy. You can make a person smile, you can make a person feel good, you can make a person laugh, but whether or not a person is happy is deeply and totally and utterly out of your control. The thing that we...
Yeah, but you weren't making her happy, you were making her miserable, like she hated you, right?
Call love, the thing that we're searching for and we're trying to create that we call love is actually not love. J. Krishnamurti talked about the concept of the desire-pleasure paradigm, that we think about love in terms of desire and pleasure.
And so, again, he's never experienced it.
Meaning that if you meet my needs, then I love you. If you don't, then I don't. So that love becomes transactional.
And so that's the kind of thing he's talking about. Certainly not worthy of a slap, right? If you think about somebody who really loves his wife and, it's a sham. Their marriage is a sham. What would make him get up and get that upset over a lame joke that would, act in a way that would get him banned from the academy, right? When he's with somebody who, she's, talked about hating him, right?
What was your hardest time in our marriage?
I think
There's just too many to mention.
the turning point in our relationship for me happened when I turned 40. That's when I had a midlife crisis.
Yeah, your 40th birthday was my low point.
Jada.
You know, there's that, and you can see the sort of simmering, like, you know, mutual hatred, right?
Where he's healing, you know, and he's also kind of breaking down some of the construct that he's built around himself of who he is and who he's not and all of those kinds of things. So I actually...
Yeah, it'd be nice if he admitted who he is and who he's not, right? And that the marriage is a joke, right? Like, you know, she's...
I think that this has been kind of, him coming to the table has been kind of a release for him to not have to live up to this.
Yeah, and that's
this illusionary marriage and this fake narrative that we've created.
Thing. Yeah, exactly.
That takes work.
It
It
takes
takes
a lot of
work, and it's not easy, and it can be painful. So.
And I'm proud
You know.
of him.
The couple.
Yeah, sure she is.
And I'm proud of him.
The couple's marriage as they knew it fell apart after Will threw Jada an over-the-top 40th birthday party that she says was more about him than her.
Yeah, we all know that, right? I've covered this here in recent videos. Everything that Will Smith does in these vacations or anything they do with birthday parties or even his daughter's concert is all about him. Like the narcissism for this guy, right? And they're all narcissists. I mean, they named their kids after each other or, you know, after themselves, right? Jaden and Willow. And so the narcissism here, right? And it's not a real relationship. It's not a slap-worthy relationship, right?
She's told me that the party was the most ridiculous display of my ego. Crushed, right? And to this day, I know I was crushed because it was true.
Yeah.
It was true.
It wasn't a party for her.
Yeah. And that was a display.
I mean, so this is their marriage, right? These looks that she gives, right? That she's 50 now, so this was 10 years ago.
And that was a display, that moment of like me having the courage to just say no.
No, yeah.
But now I had to have the courage to unravel it and just realizing this next 40, I got to do it my way.
Jada says up until that...
She's got to do it her way. And so then there was the affair with August Asina and all these things that came after it, right? And so Will Smith talking about love, right? Like he's given her a birthday party that's about him, his, you know, the ego and the celebrity, you know, status and all these things. And everything he did was, you know, so much about him. He kind of admits it, but then doesn't change, right? It's not the kind of marriage where somebody makes a joke about your wife having a shaved head and you go up and you snap and you slap the guy and ruin what's left of your crappy career, right? It's not, you know, it's not that kind of a relationship.
That point, she was trying to live up to an idea of Jada Will had created, instead of just being Jada.
To have to let go of the picture, to have to let go of the dream was devastating. We essentially had to destroy our marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Though you didn't have one because it's an illusion. She was pretending to be someone she wasn't. She hated you. You know, you guys are like not, you know, I mean, the beard aspect of the marriage, all of it. It's a sham. It's just like a performance, all these things he said, right? Superficial, artificial, and not slapworthy.
Then I don't. So that love becomes transactional. If you do what I want, if you meet my desire and give me pleasure, I love you. If you don't meet my desire and you don't give me pleasure, I don't love you. I think that in the insatiable nature of desire, trying to get somebody to fill our cup, I think that leads to anger, and it leads to...
There's a lot of Illuminati eye stuff here. You know, because he's never felt it, because he lives a superficial life. He's not, you know, I mean, he's just a shell of a person, right? There's no depth there. I mean, I've realized that lots of people haven't felt love. Like that's, you know, I mean, probably people listening to this video, you know, people talk about love or whatever, but never really truly felt love. And so, like with the heartfulness meditation, there's people who, you know, if they receive the transmission, and people's hearts are so blocked, right? People have these hard shells around their hearts, and their heart is like so they're disconnected from their heart in such a way that it's like, you know, it might as well be a million miles away, right? There's no like interaction or feeling emanating from their heart. And so when they receive the transmission, they can't feel it. Or, you know, if they feel it, it's like, what the hell is that, right? Because people have learned to extract love out of other things. Like there's love in anything. Like love is the basis of all creation. And people need love and need to feed on love, right? Need to be nurtured by love. And so if they can't get it directly and they can't have a relationship with God and their hearts are more or less shielded from them, right? Their hearts are, you know, wrapped in a cocoon of negativity and past impressions, some scars, then they can't feel it. And it's, you know, something that I took for granted, and I thought everyone's experienced love in their life. I don't know what the percentages are. And then, you know, people have experienced love, and then they just, like, whatever, they're in shitty relationships. Their heart closes, they're hurt, whatever. And then they don't experience it for years, you know. So as a child, perhaps, you know, they experience it, but then it goes away. And so this is the state of the human being. They're desperate for love. Everyone's looking for love, but they're looking for it in all the wrong places, right? And they, you know, don't know how to. I mean, there's just the infinite ocean of love that is when you connect to God. That's what's available in the heartfulness meditation. But very few people realize they need it or want it or what it is. And, you know, that's just like the sad state of humanity. So he talks a lot, and I'm not going to show you all that video, but, you know, you can watch it yourself if you really want to cringe. But clearly he's talking from a place of not knowing what love is, right? It's a lot of Illuminati stuff. They show his singular eye throughout the video. But this is the real brutal part at the end. So he's, you know, done a lot of research. He's got some quotes and ideas and transactional aspect of love and what love isn't. And then he says, all right, I'm going to define love at the end.
At its core, I think love is help.
So you know absolutely nothing about love, but decide to make a video for your 10 million subscribers. Dopey subscribers who also probably haven't experienced love either because they're, you know, watching they're a fan of yours, right?
Everybody is having a hard time. So love is really devotion to their struggle. It's when you're committed to helping somebody with
it. Has really nothing to do with that, right? Love is sacrificial because it draws you and compels you, but it's a feeling. It's not an action, right? And he's saying, okay, because he's so narcissistic and everything's been about him, you know, even his wife's big 40th birthday party was about him, right? And so, like, he's saying, okay, let's do the opposite where I'm helping people and, you know, whatever. People are helping each other and service. And that's, you know, there's love in service, right? Loving service, but service can be done with animosity, right? It's a feeling. It has to be done out of love. You can do anything out of love, right? Like the feeling has to be there. Love more than anything else is a feeling that you feel in your heart. If you haven't had that feeling, you don't know what the fuck love is, and he doesn't, right? Like he has no idea. And this goes to show you, like the same thing with Madam Expiration Date, Madonna. Like she's another example of that. Like they don't, you know, they're so narcissistic and they're so used to feeding off of the crowd and their success that they have no idea what love is, right? They need, you know, lots of adoration, lots of energy from other people because they become vampires, these ghoulish vampires. Speaking of which, I'm going to cover Celine Dion on my other channel today.
Their life, helping them to suffer less, you know, helping them to manage their minds and their emotions. I think love is
also pain. So like that's the other thing, like he has no idea about. You know, I was in the heartfulness meditation. There's a teaching that, you know, the essence of a person's, the essence of a person's soul on a soul level, there is a pain of being separated from God. You know, that every being desires to return to the Creator, return to its source, and love is the, it's the separation of being away from somebody you love, right? The separation, that you have with a person, especially after they die, that's one, the worst of it. But just being separated, the lover being separated from the beloved, is when you feel the love the most, because it's the absence of having that person with you, or whatever it might be, God, or like an art, like somebody's art. People could have a love of art, right? But the love of something, when you're separated from it, when the beloved is separated from the lover, right? It is, you can feel it's a presence in your heart, right? And it's the pain of separation. And love in this sense is pain. And everybody feels down deep the pain of love. And like I've said before, I went through this like 3-month period. Maybe it was shorter than that, I don't even know. But where this pain of being separated from God, which was a condition in the heartfulness system. And it was, it was great and brutal at the same time. It was real and, painful all at the same time. And everything else seemed meaningless to me. Like nothing in my life seemed important, right? Like I just lost all sense of, ambition to do things and perform just, whatever daily tasks and things. Like I was doing them completely, just as like detached from them. And, I couldn't function. Like I just, I was functioning, but it wasn't like a real, this is years ago. I don't know, about 10 or 15 years ago. I don't know when it was, 2006 or 7, probably right around the time I, started this YouTube channel, shortly after that, right? So it was 2006, right before the YouTube channel started. And, it's still there. Like I can feel it every once in a while. Like it comes up for short periods of time. But it's something that's buried in everybody, inside themselves. And this guy is so far away from that, right? He has no idea. He says, here, I think love.
And their emotions. I think love is a deep desire for our loved ones' growth and their blossoming and their all-around well-being.
Yeah, that's not it, right?
When you love somebody, you want them to feel good. You want them to be happy, and you want to see them succeed in life. And love really demands an in-depth understanding of their hopes and their dreams and their fears, their needs and trauma. I think.
So he keeps on saying, I think, because he doesn't feel, right? Yeah, of course those things are there for your loved ones. You want them to be happy. But it's, it's a feeling. It's not. When love is there, failure and misery and things are not, nearly as bad, right? Like those things are a part of it. Like just the pains of life. Life sucks in times. And those are the times you can more feel love, right? The traumas people go through. The loss of loved ones, people dying or whatever it might be, right? Bad news. Like those are when you feel love more than any other time, right? If you're happy, yeah, you're happy, but that's not the feeling of love. Happiness and love aren't the same thing. And so, yeah, it's nice to see people happy, but love is something else, right? And love has pain in it. Love is pain, right?
I think love is giving and sharing our gifts for the purpose of nurturing them and empowering them and helping them to create their greatest joys.
Awesome. So the end of the video here, and he's sort of just sitting here in the shadows, right? You can't see his face, and, And I was like, oh, that dude doesn't know anything about love. He's had a miserable life with all the fame, all the whatever it is, adoration, all the success, just completely clueless, because so many people, and he said the thing about joy, that love and joy are the same thing. Well, you feel joy, in relationship with being with the beloved, right? And that's, whatever it is. But like, there could be miserable things going on externally, and if you're with somebody or people you love, or you're feeling love, it's, love is like the great sort of protector and, equalizer, and minimizing things that aren't really that important, superficial things and the rest of it. But I was like, this guy just doesn't know anything about love. And so he has a sham marriage, and, and it's been done to, his marriage and his life and all these things he talks about in that other video. I've shown that recently where he talks about, he's just a creation, this fake creation.
That was the only time in my life that I ever considered suicide.
Now I'm about to show the world how little I know about myself.
How little I know about myself. This is just a few years ago, right? Like last year.
I don't want to do any of this. I'm finished with the best shape of my life. What you've come to understand as Will Smith, the alien annihilating MC, the bigger-than-life movie star, is largely a construction, a carefully crafted and honed character designed to protect myself, to hide myself from the world, to hide the coward.
And this construction is created for your benefit, all of our benefit, right? Because that's what matters to him and all these like people on social media and these celebrities, that random people that they're never going to meet, and lots of them, as many as possible, would somehow like them, right? I talked about Will Smith getting the good guy narrative, Tom Hanks getting the good guy narrative, Ellen DeGeneres getting the good guy narrative. They've all collapsed, right? They were all given this, like when you have a reality TV show and they have this good guy narrative, there's the hero in the show, right? And they have the villain, but the villain is the one that drives the drama. The villain is the one that sort of makes the story what it is, right? Most entertainment is focused on the villain. And the villain can be any number of things. The villain could be a disease. It can be, apocalyptic. It can be something, nuclear war. It could be whatever it is, right? And that's the conflict, and that's what's focused on in most of our entertainment. And Will Smith became a villain, after years of being a good guy, over something that we know he had he had a sham marriage, right? He didn't have a real marriage, and he isn't a real boy. He isn't a real person, right? He's Pinocchio. He's not somebody who has lived a real life. He's done everything to, impress all the rest of us, and we don't give a shit. Like, people don't care, right? Like, yeah, he's got some adoring fans, but they don't, because they have no lives, right? These celebrity worshipers are like the lowest form of life because they're worshiping bad people who don't know how to live life, aren't living functional lives, and, are themselves just a shell of false creation. So you have fans worshiping a false creation, and, it's not heartfelt, it's not real, it's not love, it's not, a soul-based thing. It's just this weird, superficial, dysfunctional dynamic. And that's what played out at the Oscars, right? Because everything's performance for the brand, performance for the people that don't know you, the people that think you're better than you are, right? It's not for your immediate circle of people who see you in everyday life, right? Like him saying that love is service and wanting other people to succeed and, wanting them to find joy and happiness. Well, that's probably the next step for him, because before that he was throwing birthday parties, like a 40th birthday party. Instead of making it about his wife and what she wanted, he made it about himself. And you saw this in all his other YouTube videos. Every time there was a, birthday party for one of his children, or there was, his children were, like it was Jaden Smith having a rap song, successful rap song called Icon, and Will Smith, glomming onto it and doing his own verses and performing at like Coachella with like somehow, finding a way to force himself and be a part of it. Like it's like your kid's having his big moment, but you have to stomp all over it. And yeah, of course, for somebody like that, who his wife, has a breakdown because it's another one of his narcissistic gestures that's all about him. He always has to be the center of attention on her 40th birthday. And it was too much for her. and she like, snaps. Their marriage falls apart, and she goes, bangs another guy for a couple of years, right? On top of, them both doing that. And then he says, oh, I think I understand love now. It's about thinking about other people and what they might need and what they, well, that's the first step for a, like a narcissist who names his daughter after himself and a wife that names a son after herself, right? Yeah, for those kind of people, like just understanding that other people have needs and wanting them to success and not being jealous of their success and sharing the spotlight and the, like not being all about you and constantly talking about you and, enough about you, let's talk about me, like, so that's where he is. It's just narcissistic fake performance for an illusionary audience. And so that slap ain't real, right? Like it's not like he's demonstrating some, they care so much about his wife and her needs, and like he's done much more damage to her than that, goofy joke about her being bald, right? I mean, Chris Rock didn't plan a birthday party for her and make it about himself. I mean, some of these, selfish gestures of his and things like this, and performing for an audience that, I mean, all these people that sell their loved ones out to an illusionary fan base, and just the posturing and all the, fake things that go along with it. Then a couple of days ago, I covered, this is Jada's, she talked about not knowing what love is herself, right? And so first she talked about like really loving Tupac. And then at the red table, she said she didn't know what love is and wanted to figure it out. So let's watch that. But here's Jada talking about Tupac.
And we hit it off.
First, she said Tupac wasn't a person that she would usually connect with, but once they, were connected.
From that moment on, he would tell me all the time, Jada, you're going to be a star. You know what I mean? I'm like, Pac, come on. He's like, you're going to be a star. You got it. You just got it.
You got it, Jada. You know who's got it more is Will. You got a little bit.
Sorry. He was,
This is after her and Will have been married for a number of years.
I mean, it was beyond friendship for us, as far as just, it was really difficult to explain because the type of relationship we had, you only get that once in a lifetime, so.
You get that once in a lifetime. So she's married to Will Smith, and this is what she's saying, right?
Oh, he was like a brother, father figure to me. Very protective and...
he might slap some guy who didn't... And so the problem with this as well, and I don't want to go too far into this aspect of it, Tupac is very effeminate. When you see him here, this is the time when he knew Jada, where they went to the same school together. He took ballet. He wasn't some hard gangster. He was, I guess was this some Baltimore school. And he is very effeminate. So there was a time that Jussie Smollett called himself the gay Tupac. And somebody left a comment in my video with this clip, with this link to this video saying Tupac was the gay Tupac, right? And Tupac was very effeminate and, not the tough gangster rapper that he later became, right?
This, I didn't teach him that. Where did he learn it? Look at unsafe sex and drugs. You could tell, if you look at the statistics, they're staggering again, And so I think they're scared because they're realizing that they goofed. They really messed up. And also, they fear teenagers are angry. At least this generation seems a little angrier to me and a little bit more rebellious and uninvolved. So they're scared because they're realizing that, well, 18 will bring lots of responsibilities that I don't want, but it'll bring respect that I feel like that's the only way I can get it. I try to be as mature as I can be and demand it wherever I can get it. But 18 is like... You're an adult. You like today when I had to sign the release form, I felt so bad because I couldn't sign it myself. I had to go and get my mother's and all that. But 18 is.
So he's much different here than when he was a gangster rapper, right? Like his presentation and the way he's acting. This is his more natural state. So here he is in one of these old pictures. There's a few of these pictures out there that raises some questions about his authenticity, similar to Will Smith, which I've covered in other videos. And Jada herself doesn't know what love is, right? So this is from the Red Table Talk.
I have a bucket list. I really want to learn how to love, but I know what it isn't. Yeah. You know, and
She knows what love isn't, you know, her marriage, right? I mean, I showed you a lot of this yesterday. And, you know, these will go into the compilation. But she knows what love isn't, right? You know, their marriage was a sham. They had an open marriage and, you know, I mean, it wasn't a love relationship. Will threw her a 40th birthday party was for him, and she got mad at him because he had to be the center of attention, all of these things, right?
I'm just on the journey of really understanding what love is.
Yeah. So everything on your bucket list right now is just part of your spiritual journey and your path.
You know, you're not on a spiritual journey if you don't know what love is, right? So the next piece is, I made this today, so I'm just going to throw this in there. This is more about Jada and Tupac dancing, right? So this Jada Pinkett Smith, and, you know, like she's had some plastic surgery. Her face doesn't look like that now, right? Her nose is different. But this happened.
You guys sort of dream together. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we have, as a treat, the
It's that dude. He used to be famous.
first performance of the duo of Tupac and Jada singing, very ironically, parents just don't understand. Check this out. What are you doing?
You can see the way he's moving here. He just doesn't move like a gangster rapper. She's doing her little thing. They're doing their dance together. And they're rapping to Will Smith's parents just don't understand. Look at him go. Gives you a better understanding of the character that Tupac would later create as a gangster rapper, right? The actor that, you know, the creation of Tupac from this actor, right? And then, you know, Jada back then. And then they're doing their thing. Her head's basically shaved then. There's been a variety of times she's had her head shaved. Her daughter has her head shaved now. It's a look that she's worn over the years, right? And so, you know, any sort of controversy from that is silly, right? But of course, we know that thing's fake. By that thing, I mean the Will Smith slap. You know, if someone's watching this years from now. Because at some point, everyone's going to forget about it, or mostly. So that's all the fake stuff. I'm not going to include the slap videos here because, you know, those are just a part of this thing, and I've covered that recently. But Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, and there's so much evidence that it's fake. And then there's this one more clip here. This is Will Smith talking about math.
You're in a universe and 2 + 2 = 4. 2 + 2 only equals 4 if you accept that 2 + 2 = 4. 2 + 2 is going to be what I want it to be. You know?
No, we don't know, Will, you know, because math, right? That's my standard joke for that clip. I don't know how many times I made that joke, but it's more than 3, more than 4. The other joke would be, this is Will Smith, the inventor of Common Core math. But anyways, you know, math is something that can have a right answer. Because a lot of stuff is just subjective, like history. And, you know, language is language, English, whatever. But in terms of just things being factual, math is like the most, right? It's the only thing that's, you know, finite, and the numbers add up. And, you know, there's 2 + 2 = 4. If you have two things, another two things, and you put those two things and two things together, you get four things. If Jada has two apples and Will has two apples and they put their apples together, they have four apples, right? And so, it's math, Will. But this is probably a lot of his problem because he thinks it's something that you can make you make 2 plus 2 be whatever you want it to be. But anyways, Will Smith has been a fraud. He's admitted to it very recently in that trailer from where he's losing the weight. And he said that he's been a carefully constructed, brand and illusion. And it's something that all these people are. I mean, everybody is to some extent. And Will Smith is one of the worst. And so this fraudulent, everything he does is fake. His laugh is fake. His act is fake. He's very domineering and controlling. I've talked about that in some of these other videos, right? He's very, handsy and forceful with his kids and his, he just is domineering. He tries to be he's a nice guy when the cameras are rolling, but he's very controlling and just a sucky person, right? All across the board. And he's like what I said, he's got the nice guy moniker that he's got to live up to. Of course, now that's been ripped to shreds after the Academy Awards debacle. But also he's got the desperation, the Madam Desperation date, right? Madam Expiration date. Madonna's need for relevancy and to get fed by the crowd and, to keep on, retain what you had when you were younger in terms of your popularity and your stardom. And so he's a desperate, psychologically messed up dude. And, he's probably going to come out of this thing kind of broken because I think he already was. That's it. I think there's more things from other videos, but this is enough here. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting from the Apocalaughs and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.